Yo, yo, yo. What's good? Welcome, everyone. This is to episode one of Sad Guy Saturdays with AP and Chewy. I am Chewy.
I am AP, and I have to thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and
Upself.
and and, and knowledge and wisdom.
um, if you're listening to this episode, you hear that the sound quality is not the best. We're still trying to sort that out. That might take us a while because, like we said before, we're new to this. Just so please bear with us. But we recorded this episode. We had pre-recorded this episode, and the conversations we were having in this episode about gender-based violence, consent, and just
Mhm.
the way we as men treat women, we thought it was very important for us to still put it out. We had a good friend of ours on there. Her name is Olivia, and she blew our freaking minds.
Yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of us going, whoa, and yeah, and I didn't see that. I didn't know about that. Yeah, so we're basically like learning while we were having this conversation with her, and so we thought it was important to put it out the way it is. Um, it is pre-recorded before this intro, so we just wanted to give it to you raw the way it was.
Yeah, yeah. Because we had an idea of maybe we should try to re-record it, but we thought that was going to take away from the authenticity of the and the impact of what we were talking about. And also, when you listen to this, you're going to hear us call our podcast by a different name. This was before we were sure on the name. We were sure on the name in the recording, but we found out that there are other podcasts that have similar names, so we decided to change the podcast name from what it is in the if it's there in the recording to Set Guy Saturday Podcast. So just don't be weirded out by that.
Also, before we get to the episode, I'd like for you listeners to give us some feedback um, about the episode and your thoughts on it, because we'd like to keep this as an open conversation, especially this conversation about GBV. So we'd really like your input, and also what topics, conversations we could have in the future as well. So please give us feedback.
Please, 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 and thank you, and please, 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 because this we're and just because we had this conversation now doesn't mean we're not going to have it
Again
any
in the future. Yeah.
again in the future. We're going to continue having these conversations. This is the what this podcast is about, for us to have these conversations, and if we feel if they're important to us, we're going to give them to you. And also,
Mhm.
just yeah, so please just support us, tell us how you feel, give us the energy.
So without further ado, um, here's the conversation we had. Basically, we're talking about um, accountability, holding our friends to task, and basically calling them out. When we're having conversations about women, because when we sit together as men and have these conversations about women, just in general, they are very problematic.
Facts. Facts.
They're very problematic, and how we view women as prizes. They prizes they're a thing to. That's the thing. We don't look at them as on a human level. We're not humanistic with the ideal of what a woman is. They're yes, yes, yes. So we were there.
Yeah, man. Because I'm just thinking about we were talking earlier, and I was saying that I look at my friends as we don't have those we have those conversations, but no, we have those conversations, but there's an accountability. in our group of friends, there's an accountability. I know if someone makes a off the cuff joke about something we don't agree with, it's going to be called like, come on, bro, you're talking shit. Like
Whoa, there's gonna be that. Whoa, okay,
yeah,
no.
Yeah. Some
there's
sort of interjection.
yeah, there's an accountability. We call each other out on the trash shits, and I would like to believe that we don't even call each other out because we don't
need to.
We don't need to. Nobody makes a rape joke. Nobody makes a yo. But then in that same vein, I think about who I was years ago, and I'm like, bro, that was problematic.
Just like 8-10 years ago, man.
Things you were saying, what you thought, how you talk to women, how you talk about women, how you view them, like you were saying, treat them like an object. I mean, let me stop quoting rap bars. Like, yeah, but just the way you view them, the way you talk about them, the way you just everything put in together. And I'm like, but that was problematic. Yes, cool. I would love to think I'm better now, but is that enough? Because maybe there's someone I traumatized back then. Maybe there's someone I put in a situation that was extremely uncomfortable, that they don't feel comfortable right now. Because like I can go and act holier than thou. I'm changed. I'm a different man. But doesn't really mean anything, bro. Because I know that
it doesn't cancel the past. It doesn't mean that you don't make people uncomfortable now.
Yeah, I would like to think I'm a better human being, but actions are actions, and they have effects. They have consequences, and and the troubling thing is I think we're just throwing that as a blanket statement of like, oh, there's things we did back in the day, because we know we were trash, but things back in the day. But the fact that we can't even call on those certain actions is the troubling bit. Is the troubling bit as well, because it's like we don't even identify what those things were, or maybe we're afraid to actually go into the recesses of our mind and say that was trash.
To actually recall the trash things that you actually did.
Yep. Like you, Chewy, you're in the club, feeling up on a girl. You didn't even get that energy. You didn't even get that vibe. That vibe. Listen to that. You like
that vibe.
That vibe. But like it's. I would love to think I'm a different person. I would love to think I've grown as a human being. We all would love to think we've grown as human beings, but I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
So you bring up an interesting point where you say that you guys have grown. You have outgrown certain behavior or certain thought processes, and you would like to think that you're a better person, right? So you kind of go, okay, yeah, my behavior was trash and whatever, but not whatever, but I've progressed from there. So the same thing that happens to you guys is the same thing that happens to us, because your behavior changed me. So next time a guy comes to me a certain way, you have taught me, if I say this and this appeases there, this will appease him and put me out of danger. Or if I behave in a certain way, last time I said no aggressively, somebody retaliated and told me, well, you're going to be alone eventually. So now I back up my way of how you're doing, of what I do and how I do things because of your behavior. So that is why this whole thing of not all men are trash is so upsetting, because yes, you might not be trash, but you're benefiting from somebody that is. Everything that is done by trash men makes us better, how can I say this, targets. Because now it's easier for you to come and talk to me and say all the nonsense that you do say to me, because I've learned to take it in more, because some other guy threatened my life, made me feel uncomfortable, made me realize, or made sure that I knew that I'm not in control and that he can do something to me if he wanted to. So now you come, you sweet talk, you saying the right things, you think you're doing the things. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Oh no, I have a boyfriend. And even I have a boyfriend is taken as a challenge. Even I have a boyfriend is taken as a challenge. Oh, you got a boy? Well, I can be a better man, babe. I can do it better. Because essentially you're not looking at me. You're just looking at what is better. And that is when ego's kicking hard. So that is the biggest thing that men, I feel, don't realize, that you guys grow and you get better with your things. And when you said you don't know the trauma that you leave, it's not necessarily that you leave trauma, you just leave behavior. Like you're modifying our behavior without even realizing. And it's with the small things. You don't have to hit me to modify my behavior. You just have to stand in front of me and not let me pass because you want to tell me what you want to tell me. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Why did we ask her to?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, God, hey, but no, I feel you. I feel you in that regard. I can't even say I feel you because
wait, sorry to cut you off. I'm not gonna lie. That I did not. That is something that you just taught me something right now.
I'm glad.
You just taught me something right now because I didn't. That's not something I could have ever thought about.
It's not spoken about because it's so part of what we do. Like if you see a woman, we have learned so many ways. Like the way we function in the world is guys, we are thinking a million things at a time. I mean, remember, Ape, I don't know if you were there, when I was wearing my shorts, when I was chilling with you guys at home, and when I knew I had to go to public transport, I was like, I have to change. Because I knew exactly what was waiting for me outside of the safety net of you guys that I can be comfortable with, that having my thighs out is not seen as a, oh, girl, you want it type of thing. So everything that we do is so centered around being safe, doing better, because that is what we are told. Don't wear those clothes. Don't talk back to him. Don't say these things. Don't da. So, yeah, we are lifelong students, and what we are learning is not a subject any of us signed up for.
You bring up the clothes thing. And I feel like that also has like a cultural impact on men, though. On men, because that kind of thing is taught, that if she dresses this way, she's looking for attention.
Yep.
Yep.
You don't wear that to just go out. You want me to come talk to you. You're in the club with your friends. You're wearing whatever you're wearing. You want me to come in and give you that energy. You want me to come and bother you. That's and this is what I think we were talking about this before we got you on the thing here, like just community education, not even community, your surroundings, just the people you're around, the things that you learn from them, good or bad. Why am I saying good or bad? All the bad things we learn from them.
Yeah.
We don't even realize it. We realize maybe afterwards, like you were just saying, how now because we're in a place where we thinking we're better human beings, or we've grown, but our actions maybe have a lasting impact that we don't even see, because we have the privilege of being able to grow, like the whole like racism, like basically racism. White people white people have the ability to grow and be like, no, I just realized that thing is racist, but I live the black experience. I live this experience, and I just find it weird how we as dudes do not even take that into account when it comes to what women say about their plight or their situation. Like, we don't understand it, even though we should be the ones more so to understand that.
Especially black men.
Dude, like, why?
Especially
like I just
because black men get the brunt of it when it comes to racism. You know.
And you know what? We can't even say that because I would assume black women get it even more.
Well, in the workplace, I would say in the workplace.
You're dealing with racism and you're dealing with being a black woman.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But
in this book, which is my guide of all things, because this woman nails it. Right? Rape. It's Rape by Kumba.
And by who?
Rape. South African Nightmare. Rape. So this is because you were saying that men and it's like you guys don't really understand, or like it's not factored into your thought process type of thing. And she says here that, well, it's a quote from Beth Quinn that says, men learn to effectively perform masculine identity. They must, in many instances, ignore a woman's pain and obscure her viewpoint. And that is exactly what happens. Like, it's that same thing we spoke about in the club. Her saying no in a certain way is not her saying no. It's, okay, so how can I change this to fit me? Like, how can I obscure this? Because she's not uncomfortable. She's just trying to say no she's not trying to say yes too quickly, or she's trying to, you get what I'm saying? So already you obscuring her viewpoint.
It reminds me of that story, Chewy. The girl that was dancing in the club alone, and then all these dudes just started popping up.
Bro, I will not forget that night. It was so, and like, look. In that moment, I was laughing. Like, yo, these dudes are thirsty. Yo, bruh, girl is proper just enjoying herself. She's doing twerking. She's doing everything. Because she was there with her friends, but her friends are kind of chilling, but she's dancing. Dude, when I say dudes were just like bro, bro, dudes are just, yo, and they're all trying to grind with her. They're all trying to like, and I'm just like, wait, is that how we look? It's at those situations where I'm like, is that what no. Is that what we look like in these situations? Like, ew, dudes, like
it's gross.
Stopped dancing and went back to her friends. Dance floor cleared up a little bit. She danced again. Dudes are there, and I'm like, gents, hey, is this the
girl can't live her life, man?
Is this how we move? Is this how we move for real?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, of course we've been in clubs. We've been in situations where we're in clubs dancing, and then there's a girl who starts dancing with you, and you guys start doing, and you guys are grinding on each other or whatever. That's happened. That was just.
She wasn't even about it,
dude. Because I've just been on the thing dancing, and then there's a girl who comes and dances with me, and then we dance, and then it ends, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't mean she wants to go back with the boy. It's a dance. We enjoyed ourselves. Let's keep it pushing.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am.
Yo,
yeah,
dude, like, but just that was just showing me. I was like, is this how we all look like? When we just doing this weird thing, come on, and then you,
leading with your pelvis, thinking it's all fire.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you say to when you've been in a situation where a girl will come and dance with you or will initiate it. Like, we know what we want, and we know what we like. If we see a guy and we will get to you one way or another. So if you see us as dancing with our friends, not paying attention to you, what is it about the mindset of men that goes, yeah, she wants me to go grind up behind her. Like, that is what she's here for. Like, she'll enjoy that. They're having fun. I'm going to just insert myself into that fun. Not even like, hey, can I dance with you guys? No, I'm just going to assume that I can put my hands on her hips and grind.
But
Like,
Liv,
what?
But Liv,
How does that even
but Liv,
happen?
Liv, the music is too loud.
What's it making?
My bad.
There's been so many instances where obviously as a goal, we go out as goals as a group because that's what we do. Yes, goals and ladies night, let's go get it. And we have so many tricks that we use to protect each other. So I know I can see if somebody's walking behind one of my friends and I can see, because you can see that intent, you can see that look in their eyes of peer predator, of that booty's going to be on me type of vibe, where you pull and you turn her. Now I'll take the brunt because maybe I'm not what he was looking for. So I'll take the brunt, like, and he'll move away. Or we'll take each other's hands and go somewhere else, or dance like we're lesbian and hope that that pushes him off, or just stops dancing and go, friend, let's go get a drink. Because why? We can see like we're not getting out of the situation. Like, it doesn't matter what we do, we're not getting out of the situation. So all these little things, that time we just want to be on the dance floor. We just want to do what we do. Or even worse, when you have male friends, we use you guys as a protection because we know that will work. The minute I grab you and start dancing with you, that's like, all right, bruh, that's yours. Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I'm out. Hey.
It's problematic on its own, even like just that idea that that's when dudes back off, like, oh, you're with someone, I'll move away.
Well, we see each other as competitors, bro. You and I are competitors. Women are the prize. You lost, I win.
It's man. Because you know what?
It's not cute.
Because I'm just thinking about what you just said about you with maybe you out with your friends. Like, I've seen that. Like, I remember you said this to me before even. But I'm thinking back to the times we've actually hung out and stuff. And I've seen you do that. I've seen you move in that way. Like, of course, in that time, let me not say of course. Like, it's like, what's going on? Okay, no, Liv is checking for her friend, that her friend is not being harassed or anything. And that's it. The thought goes away. Like, oh, I'm here having a good time. Instead of like, damn, like, you out here, we're having a good time. You need to be protected. You need to be, one, protect your friend, two, protect yourself. Like, yo, man.
Where is the fun in between that? Where is it?
That's the thing. Like, you can't even, like, every night is such a thought process. Like, you are thinking constantly, always looking around, seeing who's your drink you're holding close to your heart. You're making sure your friends' drinks are not being. It's like you know when somebody, like, you know when Bonnie says suit up. That's us coming to the club. Like, you gotta suit up mentally, physically. You just gotta suit up. And heaven forbid one of your friends gets drunk, because that is because now you're in a new bracket of vulnerability. You're in a new bracket of, like, prey. So now you gotta be extra about what you do, and extra careful and extra more aware, because now it's not just you out here being a girl, you're out here being a drunk girl. Ooh. That is high class functioning that needs to kick in.
And talking about drunk girls, it kind of changes. It kind of changes that question of when a guy comes up to you and says, "Can I buy you a drink?" It changes from it being a thing of buying you a drink to I'm trying to get you drunk. It becomes that now. Like, okay, I'm trying to get you drunk now instead of I'm buying you a drink. So it makes me wonder, what is going on in your mind when a guy is trying to buy you a drink?
Okay, there's two ways. First is the one to show, hey, I got you, like, I can handle it, I can take care of you type of thing. Like, look at me, I'm a provider. That is the first thing that comes into mind. The second thing is when I've said no to drinks because obviously safety first. And it was, for me, the funniest thing that happened was actually on my 21st, where the guy was like, can I buy you a drink? And I said, no, thank you, I'm fine. He's like, no, I'll leave it closed. You don't have to worry. And thinking about that now, that makes me realize that he knows he knows the dangers that comes with girls getting drinks and what happens to girls saying things. So much so that he can reassure me with that saying, no, I'm not going to open the drink. You can have it by your own. So that's step one, moving that out of the way. Step two, look at me. I'm taking care of you. I can do this for you. I'm a good guy. And then step three, seeing that like maybe I'm having a fun time, you assume that I'm on a level and you assume that you getting me drunk is what's going to get you closer to me. Because now you've seen those goals. Like the more drinks start coming and flowing, the closer the guy moves. Now it's not just a hand like on the bar, it's a hand on your back, rubbing your back, saying, hey, no. Like, it's so systematic. Like, it's such a process. And if you can take yourself out of the situation, you can see it. The look bartenders and people buying drinks give each other is absolutely disgusting. It is, when you catch that, you already know that you're not where you're supposed to be and you're not safe. Because it's at I got you, like this, keep it coming, like we're winning here, like we're getting somewhere here. There's like an acknowledgement, like, oh, look at you getting gold drunk. I don't like it when a guy buys me a drink or offers to buy me a drink, because most of the times they catch you when you're alone and you're just trying to like get your own drink, and they see it as an entry point. So already I'm like, oh, dude, I just wanna get my drink. And then secondly, the persistence of it. No, but let me buy you a drink. No, you don't have to worry. This is on me. Like, if I said, no, I'm fine, I don't want a drink, or I'm not having anything, that should be it. Like, stop forcing the thing, because, you must not think drunk goals are easier, apparently. That is the memo that gets sent.
Damn.
Y'all look distraught.
I am.
This is important, Joe.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I really am. I'm like Chu is saying, it's important. Like this is a lesson. This is an exercise, man. In I don't know what, but this is a lesson.
This might just be the podcast. We might just have to change this shit from the random guys to real shit.
You know what? I'm thinking about that as well, man. Right now, we might have to cut like that first hour we just did right now. That's another.
It's gone. This is it.
That's another episode.
This is it.
This is it. Yeah.
You said you wanted to ask us questions.
Wait, before you get there, Liv. Before you get there, Liv, I want to ask.
Yes.
There's the street level of this whole thing now. So to give you an example, after we had that phone call, so I've been back at work. So I walk basically from bus station to work and back. So I've been basically putting myself out and basically watching people as I walk. And I specifically watch men and the way they look at women in the streets. And for the first time yesterday, I had a sense. I got the sense, just a slight sense of how frightening and how uncomfortable and just how disturbing it is for men to gawk at a woman.
Preach it.
And it was just, I just got a hint. I got a hint from witnessing it multiple times. And this is like maybe like a 500-meter walk. And I saw it multiple times.
Nice. Yeah. Y'all have fun, huh? Y'all just out here just taking it all in. I was actually talking to my flatmate, and we were saying, like, we wonder what would happen if we had to do what men do to us. Because there's a girl that I used to work with at Exclusive Books, and if a guy catcalls her, she would catcall him back. Much confusion, very funny. Like, it was hilarious. But there was a moment of,
Love
what
it.
are you? And it was so odd, like for that reversal to happen so quickly. Even for me, I was like, why would you go and do, like, no, like, don't do that. But she was like, no, if he thinks it's okay, then it's most okay. Then why can't I do it as well? And we were saying that it would be so interesting just for a day, 24 hours, for women to act the way men act. For you to come, hey, babe, why don't you just come closer? No, why are you going away? Babe, come here. No, I'm talking to you. Come closer. Just that alone, like looking up and down, going, hey, making sounds as you walk past, trying to grab. You know how many guys try and grab my hand when I walk past them? And I'm not talking about the club when it's loud and so. I'm talking about walking in the streets and somebody walks past you and tries to grab your hand. I've had marks on my arm from somebody gripping me, from saying that I'm not giving them the attention that they need. Why can't I just let them talk? Why can't I just let them talk to me?
They deserve
like
that
literally blue
attention.
marks because this man was squeezing that hard. Like, and it's, you just can't, you see that. And the worst part is you see other men around it. Because you can, like the way you were looking at a man, like looking at that girl or looking at that person, that same man, when she comes past her, is going to do the same thing. Like, it's just going to be like this little process that keeps on happening. And at what point does somebody goes, that's not okay, like, stop doing that. Like, call somebody out in front of you, like, hey, like, stop looking at her. Like, could you just... Yeah,
That's terrifying.
It is terrifying. So we modify our behavior once more. See guys walking, we cross the street or we move out of the way. My flatmate, and I repeat to her again, she did an experiment where she didn't move out of guys' ways. And you know how many times she got bumped? Because they were not paying attention to her. Like, you guys so used to us changing ourselves. But it's little things like that where it's just that you don't really, how can I say this? Pay attention to how much we do to allow you to be men. If that makes sense.
To exist. Jeez.
Like the fact that we girls couldn't show our bra straps because we were told that it is distracting to the boys, or it's not classy, it's not womanly.
What?
We can't show.
What?
In school,
What?
bra straps are not allowed. Like your bra strap showing was a sign of being promiscuous. It was a sign of being inviting. Why do you want the boys to see your bra strap? Why? Why must they see? Girls need to cover themselves. Yeah.
What? What? Wait, what? Yo, I feel
You guys never.
we went to two
Yeah,
different.
that is literally what happened. This right here, this was taboo. In high school, don't you get your bra strap is showing? Hey, you need to cover up.
Mm-hmm. Wait. I think you. Okay, I can't believe I was just about to say. I think you're onto something. Like you didn't live this experience. Like.
Wow, Chewy.
No.
That's an example right there.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even trying to make a joke. Like I was about to say you're onto something because I can't even say we went to two different schools. I'm sure the reality for everyone was the same. Like, don't be out rocking. Nah, that's true because everyone was wearing like those inner vest shirts things, act like sports bras or whatever, you know. Those shirts you wear inside. Like, I remember the specific shirts. Like those. Don't ask me why I remember, but I remember. Yeah, like vests and that energy, and then you'd see the girls in like the higher grades were the ones with the bra action.
With the bra action. Yeah. No, AP, this as simple task as walking. It's not just a walk.
I swear that. You know how many times I've seen dudes do that? You know how many times I'm just going to where I'm going, and then maybe there's like a girl who walks by, like just, sweetie, sweetie.
You know the crazy thing is, Chewy. You know the crazy thing is, and that was you not paying attention to what's happening around you.
Bro,
when you actually pay attention to what's happening around you, you would be worried about the safety of you, the people that you know, because damn, the things that I saw yesterday, man.
I had a guy that followed me out of, like, he was like, so traffic was standing still by the robot, and I crossed the robot. He turned into the road and followed me and stopped in front of me, got out of his car, walked to me and said, "Hey, I saw you walking past, like, can I like get your number? I was trying to like holler at you, but you weren't really, like, I don't think you heard me. So where do you live? Can I get your number?" This man followed me from where he was in his car, saw where I was going, and like went off route. Like he was going straight and he took a left to follow me and able to stop in front of me and be like, "I'm going to, like, you and I are going to talk right now." Now, as a person, this man has shown you that he is not, he will follow you. Like, he is not scared to follow you and pursue you. So what choices do you have? Because where he's parked is where you're walking. Like, you are forced to now walk with this person next to you, hoping that they don't drag you into their car and drive away. Like, something like that he thought probably was cute. He thought like, yeah, I got game. No, you terrified me. Now I don't walk after 5 because I'm like, hey, no, it's traffic time. What if somebody's like getting bored in their car or something like that? So
yeah.
The extent that you may go through sometimes, the extent that you go through just to holler. I've had an Uber driver next to me ask me for my number while I'm driving and showing me his phone, saying, "No, just at the robot, just tell me your number." I'm driving. I'm in my vehicle. I'm trying to get home. Like,
jeez.
Look, you must give us the memo. Just let us know what we need to do.
You know what that's called? You know what? All those behaviors you just explained?
Mm-hmm.
Confidence.
Yeah, it is. They call it confidence. It is called confidence.
Confidence in the fear factory.
They really do call it confidence.
Because I'm just thinking about how dudes would try to spin this. Like, hey, like, anasa batlo mpha number, mara wa itseng fethu, ka motshwara ka mengele, braga ka motshwara ka dilo tse di ka re ngwana bona,
That's the thing. You know, that's the problem, Olivia. It's that when it arrives to us, when that story that you just told of a guy stopping you with his car, it comes to us as that's how it arrives to us. So we don't find a problem with it. He'll tell us, "No, I saw a girl, I parked the car, yeah, I got the number." That is how it arrives to us. Which is
it's cute. Like, he did the things.
You know, and the thing is that this is something I said to Chewy before, was that rapey behavior as well.
Ooh.
It's when it arrives to us, it doesn't arrive as rapey behavior. Man's had a good time. He will tell us, "Yo, we never get the details," which is a thing that I think it's only a thing that maybe we do as a unit, Chewy.
Yeah.
Where we get into details about things, because I've never had it with anyone else.
What do you
mean? It's always vague.
Wait, explain that story again. What do you
You know, when but Chewy, relax yourself. No, when you're talking about your encounters,
yeah,
and we get into details.
Oh yeah.
It's something that we never have with other people. We never get that from other people, from other And the thing is that sex is something that guys, if there's a group of guys, there will be a conversation about women or sex and or sex rather.
And it's
Same, by the way, in case you were wondering.
But it's always from.
Sorry?
I said same, by the way, if you were wondering.
Yes.
No, but let me not say the difference, but from not from, you know what, I feel like keep into I've been drinking, us repeatedly saying our friends are different. I can imagine that being interpreted negatively, like, why do you think your friends are different? But I feel like if you're in the circle of friends that I have, the circle here, and the circle, the immediate circle that I'm talking about, that the two of you know, like you just said, AP, when we talk about stuff, we go into detail. There's a lot of detail. Like, even when someone comes to us, yo, dude, I think a girl likes me. How do you know, bro? But how do you know? Are you?
I remember when you did that to me. Right? And I had to explain, like, no, ABC happened. Happened.
We grill. We put you on that grill. Chisanyama poison. We put that on the thing, and we're going into work. Like, it's a conversation. It's like, what happened? Like think about when you were telling us about your queen, your queen. When you were telling me and homeboy, I don't know if I should use people's names, but yeah, when you were telling me and OG, remember how annoyed we got that you weren't getting into detail?
Yeah.
Like, we weren't even talking about, we didn't even care about what you guys are doing. No. But how did you meet, bro? Nah, we met at work. Man, explain the story properly. What, fam? What were you wearing?
What did you do?
What were you wearing? The weather outside. So, okay, but it's neither here or there. I was just like, because I'm just thinking about the conversations we have, bro. The conversations we have and the friends in this immediate group. Because I know sometimes when I'm not in this immediate group, when I'm with other friends, other people I call friends, and I listen
things change.
I listen to their friends, and I'm like, hold up, what the fuck just happened? And I know dudes like saying, yo, I'm holding my friends accountable. Dudes aren't.
No, we're definitely not.
No, we're not.
We're definitely not. As people that have been in circles where guys are talking about women, nah, we don't.
That's what I wanted to make that statement. I wanted to make that point. When dudes sit in a circle, or most dudes, or a lot of dudes, not all. When dudes come around, not all men, but when dudes come around in a circle, it's always that. It's not. We're not talking about sex. No. We're talking about the conquering. Talking about we can't.
Yes.
We conquered that.
Woo!
We'll not talk
yes.
about a group of dudes.
Reach it.
We'll not talk about the cuddling, the loving aspect of.
What is cuddling?
That, huh?
What is cuddling?
What do you mean? What is cuddling
to a man? What is cuddling to a man?
I was confused.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you bring up cuddling in this group of testosterone? Cuddling.
Like, it's always I conquered it. And that's weird. That is weird, because if you break that down, just do that. Yo, dog, I gave her the energy, we went back, I hate it, fam. Hey, dog, like, fam, I don't know how many things I went through, bro. Like, we had to go to the store, buy more condoms. Like, bro, I was in it, dog. I was in it.
Language.
There's no intimacy in what you just said.
Language, Chewy. That's another thing. Another thing. Language. Kimujele.
That is harsh. That is harsh language.
Don't say that, because that's what these men say, fam.
Fam, you know what? I've expressed those sentiments as well.
We both have, yes.
I cannot use the language. I cannot see it, but I cannot.
We've seen that exact face.
So I can't even like it's well, I don't know, bro. Because I remember, like, especially with our. Okay, let me stop talking about this group of friends. Okay, Liv, you wanted to ask us questions. What are these questions?
No. Okay, so I'm going to talk about when we first met, right? Because as a girl, I didn't come into your group as a friend. We all know this.
Mhm.
It was not arranged that I would come up and it would be like, oh, here is a friend. I came as somebody's friend. And I call it as a recommendation. It's a recommendation. So I wanted to know that when that happens, when it's a group of guys and everybody's like, like, what is that about? Like, what is that initial thought that when girls arrive, you guys go, okay, I can see myself with the, like, what is that thought process? Like, why is it so predator so quickly?
I think
Because
I think AP answered that question before. Competition.
Yeah.
I get that. You get that. Hey, Jorewaka, I'm fit. It's 5 of us. How many girls are coming? It better be more than 4. Better be
The
more than 4.
ratio.
Ratio
As we
needs to
always
make
call
sense.
it.
Ratio needs to make sense. What do you mean? You can't have fun if I can't.
that is such trash behavior.
That is the thinking. That is the thinking, and I think that's where I don't know, dude. I don't know, because
And I can't even tell you where it comes from. I can't, because it's learned, and I don't know where it's learned. I don't know where it's learned, but it just happens. It just happens. We're a group of friends. For instance, that day we met you with the other females that you were with, what transpired there is a thing that I cannot even put in words as well. Like, I don't know why that happened, why it was so necessary for us to try to divvy up the situation.
Yeah, that was quite the interesting night. I can't lie. So a lot of different personalities come through. So a lot of behaviors come through. I'm like, alright, okay, cool. Yeah, that was just. It's so interesting because now we are friends and we have been friends for a very long time. So I've seen this whole process happen from being. I almost said the goal on the platter. From being.
Hey, speak your truth, Liv. Speak your truth.
From being the object that is presented as a goal, as an achievement, as a possibility, to being a person that can have this conversation about you guys going, hey, no, that was trash behavior, like that and that and that made me feel uncomfortable, or that and that wasn't okay. Because it's just also one thing this thing has to stop, and I hope that the young people listen to this. Taking a girl into a room and all the guys are like, not okay.
wait,
Not okay.
did that happen?
Come on, Chu.
No, I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there
Come
for
on.
that. I was not.
We will not mention the specifics,
No, but it's not even like you guys' group practice. It's a common practice. So somehow the minute you get a girl into a room, there's this assumption that you are winning, that you are supposed to conquer, that you are supposed to do something, that something's supposed to happen. And if you do come out without those results, it's seen as, my guy, like, how did it happen? How did you not, though? But everything was set up for you. How did you not smash, though? How did you not? So that also needs that's just a bad practice that happens a lot and generally.
I think it's one of those things that create angry men as well.
You quiet. Why are you quiet?
Hey man, listen, I'm reflecting on my past life decisions and actions, and
see, the biggest thing about gender-based violence is, and I keep on saying this to people, it's not the big things. By the time somebody's being hit or raped or molested, it is not those things that actually make up the bulk of gender-based violence. It starts so little. Like every girl, I know I have a story when I was as a little girl, that already made me feel uncomfortable, that I knew I didn't want to be around that man, or that I knew that this was not okay. And that was from a young age already. So we can't just look at gender-based violence as these big moments that happen, because that's not where it's created. That's not where it sits, and that's not where it sinks in. It's in the little things. A boy can be home at 9, 10 o'clock at night. A girl has to be home before the sunset. Why? It's not safe for you out there. It's those little things that just keep on building and building and building until it's this big thing. And we're trying to solve this big thing. We're trying to be like, don't hit women, don't abuse women. But we're not even starting at the bottom going, have a conversation with the woman. Don't assume she owes you anything, or those little behaviors are eventually going to make the biggest difference. Because if you, for a split second, can consider that maybe if I get angry, I should walk away instead of, you know what, her body is my property, I can do whatever. That's already one case that can be avoided. That's already one case that can be avoided. And it's not because it said don't hit a woman, it's just respect her, or have a conversation, or actually talk about your feelings instead of expressing them physically.
But you see what you just explained just shows the contrast in because you just said you experience something from a young age that teaches you, okay, I don't want to be next to this dude. I don't want to be next to this old person. I don't want to be next to this person. From a young age, you're learning, oh shit, it's unsafe for me outside in the world. When you stay out too late, you get shouted at by your parents. You get scolded by your parents. There's this learned behavior that you get. Contrast on the other side, same shit but different points. Yo, okay, I catcalled a girl. She didn't respond, or to avoid any malice from me. Maybe I'm walking at night. Here's a girl, she's walking at night, and I'm trying to get her numbers and shit. She's fucking afraid. But not to get any negative reaction from me. She's like, give me cool energy, cool vibes. I take that. No.
She'll probably give you a number as well.
Girls like that.
My block list is long. Yes.
When I can't call a girl, she doesn't respond negatively to it. Girls like that. When I in a club grinding without, okay, let me not say consent, because like clubs are weird. But you're not
no consent.
Okay, consent.
Yeah, without consent.
Without consent. Yo, girls like when dudes go behind them and grind them without even getting that. I can see that she's uncomfortable, but she's not stopping me because what were we told when we were young? In high school and in school, no means no. I didn't get that no. I just got to look, fam. She's liking that. When like it's learned behavior. Like you're taught by society to fear. We're taught by society to prey on that fear.
Yep, it's called the fear factory.
And the thing is that it's not. Sorry to cut you off there. It's the opposite of it is that women are taught to fear while we are taught not to pray, but it comes to us as confidence.
confidence, dog.
It comes to us as confidence. Like, yes, you have to talk to that girl. She likes a guy that is confident, you know. But the thing is that I don't know why it's never a thing to think about. Maybe this girl doesn't want to have anyone talk to them, though. She just wants to sit there and wait for the bus. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. You know, why would she want to have your company? Why is your company such a blessed thing?
That's what I never understood. It's the confidence that guys come at you. Like, you are so sure that all of this is for you. Like, you don't hear the conversations before we go out where I'm like, oh, are you going to wear heels? I'm going to wear heels. Like, we feeling cute. Like, we liking each, like, we get excited about the outfits that we see on each other, because for that moment where we are in our presence and we are feeling good, we feel good. And then comes the, oh, you dressed up for me, but why would you? And the thing is, every guy thinks it's them. Every guy thinks that they are, I'm saying every guy, but I'm generalizing, think that what they are seeing is for them.
Right saying that.
Like, they think that what I'm seeing is for them. And prime example is when I was doing promotions. My people, I am friendly because it is my job. You think my smile is just for you. You know how many times I got, oh man, the amount of admin of just trying to appease this man on the side while trying to do my job with the next one, and the third one thinking, well, I've gotten to a point where a friend had to come pull a guy away from me because this guy was like, why are you talking to other guys? Why? Like, I thought you and I were talking. I sold you shots. I was friendly to you because it is my job. What makes you think that out of all these people, you are the one that gets to claim me? And it is, every promotion job is like that. They somehow, it's like they lay claim immediately, like, oh, but you're smiling at me though. Oh, but like, you're making jokes with me because I'm at work. Do you not see my outfit that is saying Smirnoff or Vintage or like Sky Vodka?
Can I just comment on how weird those dudes are? You know how many times I've been like out in clubs and shit, and I see bottle girls selling bottles. Hey, this is the new thing, try it out. And then I see like those, hey, baby girl, try it, come. And I'm like, fam, wait.
It's her job.
Wait, are you for? Yeah, I've seen that shit a lot.
It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. Like,
I get annoyed when bottle girls come to my table. Like, you can see I'm drinking what I'm drinking. Don't be telling me some new promotional beer and stuff. And it's not on them. It's just on my thing of like, no, I'm drinking what I'm drinking. Leave me alone, please.
like,
I don't want, like, stop telling me Jägermeister. I don't want to drink Jägermeister right now. I'm drinking beer. Leave me alone. So, but dudes are like grabby. Dudes are grabby.
because somehow she and the bottle is the same product. Somehow what I'm selling you and who I am is the same thing. There is no difference. Whether I'm selling you shots or me, you don't see the difference. So when I say, would you like a shot? You're looking, you hearing, try me. And that's the problem.
Bars.
You need to read this book. Like, you just need to.
By who?
Pumla.
Pumla Dineo Kola. Okay.
Like, my favorite line. So remember you were saying about how, where's this thing? Like, one of my favorite things, right? So she explains that as a woman or as somebody that is seen as feminine, we have no way of being masculine. So we can never achieve that level of masculinity that is accepted and that is encouraged. So you have, and that includes gay men, that includes gay women, because even though you a butch lesbian, you're still a female, right?
Yes.
So by not reaching that level of masculinity, we started adapting. So instead of trying to match it, we try to please it. So we modify ourselves in order to please our masculinity, because that's the only way that we can gain that acceptance in order to coexist with it. Because we can't fight it because there's things that stop us, but we can coexist with it. And then she says this about it, which is probably my favorite thing ever said in a book. Where is it? What's this thing? She said, tired, hungry, distracted women are easier to control. They're already trained to work on themselves and blame themselves for inadequacies, even in the absence of sexual violence. Now, you put that in the context of rape, you put that in context of physical, mental, emotional abuse, and what you got? What you got? No, he's hitting me because, I do make him mad, or I do. And that's a language that abusers also use. Why are you making me mad? Why are you making me a bad man? Why are you trying to make me look bad in public? Why are you trying to tell your family, like, oh. So here we are trying to fix ourselves, making sure that we are. And that's the thing that it came to when I said that we have modified ourselves so that you guys can exist in this world as guys.
Exactly. So you guys have to literally hopscotch around us. You have to tiptoe. Jeez, man. This is so much deeper than I thought it was. It is so much deeper. It pains me. It really pains me.
Because, we're chilling. You don't think about that.
Yeah. Because, the thing that I thought I knew, but that, how do you live? That's not existing. That's not existing. Being a man is just it's like, being a man is like being a white man.
Yeah. It's like same. Like, yeah, same. And that's why when these two are fighting, when men are fighting and the women are like, you guys are not serious. Like, you're actually not serious. Like, you don't even realize how not serious you can't be about it. It was so funny. Like, my brother was quite upset about this gender-based violence thing because he was like, it makes him ashamed to be a man. Because he knows in his friend groups, he knows in the community, like, he knows his conversations are happening, or a guy will just speak about, I handled her, and everybody will know what that meant. And I was saying to him, I'm like, can you imagine me having to get married? Because I'm not a person that's going to speak softly. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to challenge you. So I have to be so careful in who I choose to actually marry or allow into my life, because I never know who's going to retaliate against me, because every guy starts off a good guy. Otherwise, the world wouldn't be what they are. So it's so, like, even though that how can I put this? The fear factor is already in me. Like, as much as I'm aware of it, as much as I work with it, it is still within me. It is still part of my process, or part of my thought process. Like, who is this new person? What do their history look like? If I am the outspoken person that I can be, what is there going to be consequences for me? Like, how long is he going to tolerate that? How long is that going to be put up with?
And the things that I was about to say, the good guys are the ones you should watch out for. But then again, the bad guys are bad guys.
I'd rather see you coming from a mile away. I'd rather see your tendencies from a mile away than this slow psychological abuse. That type of abuse,
And it's the worst. It's the worst one. It is the worst one.
Like, it is the things you start doing just to make sure that that person doesn't get angry, or that, it's amazing how much you can change of yourself. And you don't realize it. It's when you're out of that situation and that behavior comes, the behavior that you have been, the conditioning comes through, and you don't have to do that, or that's not what you have to do, or then you start feeling guilty about it, because now you feel ashamed that you've behaved in this way, or that you thought that you had to, because it just makes you feel like very low, like your self-esteem is at its lowest, because you've worked so hard to get this image right, get this person right, to be accepted by the abuser, that the minute you're not the abuser anymore, you kind of feel lost. And that's why a lot of people keep on going back to the same personalities, because they dangle. You don't have a person telling you what to wear, where to go, who you can be friends with, so that sense of control.
Really? It's the control is you've gotten so used to that control that you kind of don't know how to live without it.
Exactly. And that's when that pattern just keeps on going and going. That's why I said it's more likely for a woman who's been abused to end up with another person that's being abused. Because why? They show the same qualities that she has found comfort in. Not found comfort in, but that she's used to, that she knows. Because why? Better the devil you know than the devil you own.
And the devil knows.
Because if you say you're going to kill me, I believe that. If you say you love me, I can't believe that. I that's harder for me to trust. Because why? So yeah.
Jeez. You know, you remind me of a conversation I had with my girlfriend earlier. So we were talking about flirting, and how I was basically telling her that if you're flirting with intent, I consider that as cheating.
Because you want an intimate.
Yeah, you know. But I didn't say that at first. I basically said something of, I'm paraphrasing when I said, I don't remember, but I said flirting, if you flirt with other guys, you know. And she was like, okay, break that down for me. And I stumbled a bit, and she was like, okay, let me give you an example. Right? She gave me a couple of examples. I was like, okay, no, that's okay. But then she came to one, and I did not expect it, where she was like, okay, what if a guy comes up to me in the street? And I have to play nice, you know, and maybe sometimes even give my number up, to protect myself.
That's not flirting, though. Flirting is...
Yeah, but that's the thing. The fact that she even had to bring that up to me, you know.
Oh. It was scary. It was like, wait.
You know, it is something that I never would have thought about. And I was like, obviously, no. I am not going to say you gave up your number and now you're cheating. No.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Had a little bit of a sound problem, so had to cut. But the thing, random guys are back. I had to run to the toilet. I had to fill up my beer. And now, but we're back. We're back. Let's get it. Talk about GBV. Okay, no, that's not the tone for that. But we're back. Liv, you want to?
That was a terrible tone.
I know that was.
That was terrible tone.
It went better. It went better in my head.
Liv, please proceed.
Okay, so I want to know from both of you individually, if you've heard either a guy telling a story about how he got physical with his partner, or a family member that you know got physical, or was like basically somebody close to you or that you know of that was involved in violence or in abuse. What is it? What is your thought process? Is it something that you take in, go, that's bad, and then let go? Or is it something that you want to address, that you want to talk more of? Like, what is the culture around that for you guys individually? Because in every group, in every family, in every situation, it's different. So I'm trying to negate how people deal with hearing about the abuse.
Okay, on my side, I can't say in my family or anyone like that has ever done anything like that, but there's a friend of mine that once told me a story about his girlfriend at the time. Basically, they had this on and off relationship, and it was very toxic. It was quite toxic. Then there was a point where I think they were at church, and then they were outside the church gates, and they were having a real serious argument. And he's the one telling me this, right? So I don't know how true all of this is, but he was she kept on pushing him, baiting him.
Mm-hmm.
She kept on doing that and pushing him and baiting him. And she ultimately said something that really upset him, and he slapped her. Now, as a person I was hearing the story, I was like, whoa, you did what?
Mm.
And he began to explain himself, yeah, I know what I did. And I just, at that moment, I was so heated and emotions, and I just saw black.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing. I couldn't take it further than that. I was like, okay, you know what you did was wrong. What else can I say? If you know? But it's always bothered me, though. That's the thing. It's always bothered me. And I don't know how I could have handled that situation differently, especially with all the information you just gave me now. I'm kind of conflicted about how I could have, as a person that is his friend, and him telling me that. I don't know how I could have, spoken to him about it. No, that is not good. Just saying that, it sounds like it's a nothing statement. No, you shouldn't have done that. No, that's not a good thing, because he already knows what he did was wrong. Yeah.
And did you check in back with him? Did you guys ever talk about it again?
No, we never did. I'm definitely gonna do it now, though. I'm definitely gonna bring it up again now, because I still talk to him every once in a while.
Yeah.
I want to, because I don't know if that's a repeated behavior now. If it's something that he does, and he just doesn't talk about it anymore because I was a bit vocal. Because I was a bit vocal, and now he doesn't want to be judged.
Yeah, because he's not a bad guy. That's the thing. He's not a bad guy. So only bad guys hate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I get you.
Well, on my side, my friends, no. My friends, I don't know. Because I remember one of my oldest friends once told me he was in a situation with his girl, and they were arguing, and there was a lot of baiting. No, it wasn't baiting. There was a lot of just negative shit, negative energy, a lot of arguing, a lot of shouting, a lot of just, when you're arguing and you just say shit to hurt each other. A lot of and also a lot of dismissiveness, like, fuck your feelings, what the fuck are you complaining about? And I remember my boy was like, dude, I saw red. I saw myself. I felt how I felt and how angry I was in that moment. I walked out of her room. because they were at her res. He walked out of the room, had to sit outside for like a couple minutes, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, just the idea of this could have went very different. We were shouting at each other, screaming at each other. We were saying all these things to each other. I had to remove myself because of where it was going. Because no, I remember he called me on that day. I remember in that time, like, yo, dude, can I come crash at your place, bro? I can't be here, bro. I can't be here. I can't. And I'm like, I have to give you props for removing yourself from that situation. But of course, he couldn't roll through. This was years ago, and it was late. So he had to sleep in that. He had to sleep in that stew of of toxicity. But
Yeah.
for my friends, for my friends, I don't know. From the older generation, yeah. Let me not talk about stuff that. Let me not. But yeah. Have I seen it? Yes. Have I seen it? Yes. Have I experienced it? Not experienced it, but like seen it. I'm sorry, guys. My thoughts are not concise. I've been drinking and I'm not 100%. But have I seen?
That was a great idea.
Have I seen it? Yes.
Yeah.
From my friends, no. I would like to think no, because someone can say, no, I've never done it before, but is out here doing judo, But with my friends, no. But can I say that I've not seen it? No. Can I say that I've even not experienced it? Not on me. But oh, so this is our reality. This is, man. Yeah, because I'm just thinking.
Conversation for another day.
Yeah, it's a conversation for another day, man. It's a conversation for another day. Next question.
Okay.
Next question.
That is
Rather opinion or your opinion before your next question.
My opinion is that it is a cycle, and as much as we have, we've gone through this multiple times during this conversation, that we have both genders have learned a certain type of behavior, and we can look at my childhood and see how when I was feeling uncomfortable next to that person, or I knew I was supposed to be around that person, how that changed me. But we also need to start having conversation of what men have witnessed, what they have gone through, what they have put through. Because if you go and understand a problem, you need to understand the components of the problem. And we need to start taking a closer look at what men go through as children, what they see from older brothers, from parents, from uncles, from society in general, what they see as being okay. Because, for example, your friend that stopped himself from going overboard, that took a lot. Like, if he was conditioned with other things and he gave into that impulse, that split second image where he saw, let's say, his brother hitting his girlfriend, that split second image where he sees that and for a moment he releases and he does that. That's one image. It's one image that sends him down a path that he is going to struggle to come back from, because now guilt is going to set in, shame is going to set in, and it's just going to be a perpetual cycle. So when we have gender-based violence conversations, we need to start including where people come from. We need to start including the patterns that are being taught. Yes, Stu?
Yeah. I just remembered something, which is one of the reasons you're here to like talk to us more so than a woman. You're a social worker. You're a counselor. Like,
I am.
now I understand why things are getting so emotional.
You were never. Didn't you hear the voice? Did you not hear the voice?
The professional voice.
It's a professional voice. Because you start, and actually, thank you for bringing that up, because as a social worker, my job is to find out who you were. So I'll get a client that comes to me as a drug addict that didn't go for prenatal care, and suddenly she is going to lose a baby because she's seen as a mother who neglected her child, right? But then you start talking to her, and I'm like, okay, they say you're a drug addict. Who are you? And they're like, no, I'm a drug addict. I'm like, that's who you are right now in this moment. But who are you? Where do you come from? Where's your family? And our first step as a social worker, our process is starting to get to know your family tree, your timeline, who's closest to you. We don't even care about the situation that's happening right now because we realize that what's happening right now is not what the actual issue is. So now I start off talking to a drug addict, but I end up counseling a sexual abuse victim. And that's the difference where you have to go back. You have to take it back to the roots. Because you start off talking to a man that's abusive, but it's actually a boy that's been abused as well. You have to include both narratives when looking at this problem, because at the end of the day, it's not just one-sided.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
Why did AB?
Yeah.
Why did we ask her to do this thing with us?
Because she came with the female perspective, bro. But now she's coming with the social work perspective, and damn,
I don't need this.
Damn. Yeah.
Last question from my side.
Okay.
Last question.
Yeah.
I find it so hard to ask because it is a difficult one to answer. Do you ever think because obviously I know that you guys both have mothers, do you ever think about them as young women?
Sure.
In what capacity?
I don't even need an explanation. I understand what you're asking me. And no, I have never, not once, have I ever pondered that. Even when I looked at a photo of her being young, it never set in that that's her as a young person. Thank you for destroying me. Sure. Yeah, why did we invite her again?
Yeah, bro, that's what I've been asking. But you raise a very interesting.
At no point. You know, there's a period.
He's about to have a stroke.
Chewy and I were just talking about this. There's a period in our lives where we put our parents on a pedestal. And they're like superheroes.
Yeah.
And as we grow up, we drop them down some pegs, and at some point they become human. You know. But it never registers that they were once young people as well.
They were They were one time me. They were young person talking to you, telling you what she's gone through.
It never quite well, let me not generalize it. For me, no. It never registered. Do you ever think about that, Liv?
Well, I'm lucky enough that the relationship, and I say lucky that the relationship I have with my mom, that we kind of can speak about things. And it's not that she means to bring up stuff. It's that she will tell me a funny story about how they used to go to the tavern and had to walk back, and then these four guys like basically tried to rape them, and how they fought them off, and how they ended up by the gate like her screaming and fighting like these guys off, and eventually the the farm owner coming out with his gun. She knew if she screamed and made a noise outside, he's automatically kind of come out with his gun, and that is going to scare them away. So it was one of those. She started off the conversation started off with her telling me how she and a friend like would have fun, like they knew that they would drink at home, and then once or twice they'd be like, okay, they're gonna go to the tavern. So it started off as that and ended up with my mother telling me about her attempted rape and the bruises that she had on her body, and her friend that she had, and how she like fought for her life and fought for her friend's life. And when that happened, that it became very real to me, because I listened to her story and I was like, do you realize what you just told me? Like, do you realize what you've just relayed to me? And I started thinking about her more and more as a young person, and now I dig. I want to know. Because it makes me understand her more. It makes me understand her better. But it's very scary to hear that we go through similar things still. That it's just dressed differently, it's just in different times. And that is, so it's from there on out, I really start paying attention, and I want other people to start paying attention to us as well. Because it's important. It's one thing you don't think about, but when it hits you, and you can't go back. So I'm sorry that you have to live with that reality.
I definitely couldn't go back anymore now.
Yeah.
I wish though I could have that kind of talk with my parents, my mother. I wish, but my relationship is not that with her.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, now I need to go actually have a relationship with her.
So like, yo.
No, wait, let me take that back. No. Disclaimer. I love my parents. Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, but because people are acting like this thing is a new phenomenon. Like, it's only happening now. Like, so I think these are conversations that need to take place for real. Like, just because I think it's easier for women, mothers, to speak to their daughters about this issue. That's my feeling about it. I feel like it's much easier for them to have that discussion with them, because like you just said, even the way it was even expressed wasn't even like yo, this happened. It was just like an afterthought, even like, hey, this was, we were having a good time and this happened. Like, it wasn't like a trauma. It was, but the way it was explained to you wasn't in the category of a traumatic experience. So, especially when it comes to like moms and their sons, they don't really talk. They don't really talk about who they were when they were young, the experiences they went through when they were young.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me not say that. I can only speak for myself. That discussion is place.
No, like for me as well, it's the same thing. Like, it's always a general thing when she talks about being young. It's always her generalizing, like, hey, we had to go through this when we were young. And it's more of imparting the fact that I'm privileged. That's how it always comes out when she's talking about these things. So there's nothing for me to latch onto over there.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because that's our schooling. That is our lessons. That's our listen. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You need to learn from this. This is what you need to learn from this. So it keeps on just being carried over and over and over and over and over. You don't have to, like her. It's for me, a lot of it, like hearing my mom speak about experiences. It's as much as it her connecting, it's also for her to tell her story. because I shut it, like, it makes me feel sick when I think how much there's our parents, the generation above us and above us went through, but that I don't speak about. So when she can tell me that something in a jokey way, it might be the first time that she actually gets to fully explain what happened and how traumatic it was. Because when my brothers and sisters' dad came back home, she was like, oh no, they just like had a scuffle somewhere. Like she couldn't even tell him the full extent of what happened because she didn't want him to be involved in that or think that she did something wrong. So it's little things like that where I'm like, there's so many hidden stories in these women that I can't imagine the trauma that they carry, and worse, the trauma that they just carry over to the next child. And that is a problem. That's why we need to have these conversations. Like, we need to have women coming forward and speaking about it, because it might not change your generation, but it definitely is going to change the next one.
Yeah, and like, I think going forward as just a generation, man, like as our generation specifically, it's to pave a different path. I don't know in what regard we can, because I think there's a lot to be taught from the foundation level. We had a conversation about, for instance, life orientation at school.
Yeah.
And was inadequately prepared us for what was outside. It really did not prepare us very well. So maybe that should change.
But I mean, people are very protective still, because it's such a taboo. Like, there's so many things that are taboo, and this might it might encourage this. I mean, remember when they wanted to lower the age of sex education? I think they wanted to make it like in the primary school, like a little bit low in the grades. And there was this massive blowback. No, you're going to teach our children how to have sex. This is going to encourage children to have sex and stuff like that. So even with like a subject of pushing it's an uphill battle. It's going to be an uphill battle because it's going to force people to have conversations they're not ready to have. Because now you have to speak about in the education system about abuse, how it goes down, what it is, bring all those experiences, and then try and find a way forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have to do that. Otherwise, you're letting the cycle repeat itself.
Yeah.
You're letting the cycle repeat itself when you're just being silent and you're teaching the same thing over and over again. And also the other thing that's not spoken about is, maybe this should be like the last thing because we've been going at this, is our cultures and how they impact this.
Last thing, that's the beginning of a whole new segment.
Our cultures create these men.
Oh, we nourish them.
We don't talk about these things. We don't acknowledge that our cultures create. My culture is one of the biggest offenders.
Y'all be wilding.
My culture, Xhosa culture, is one of the biggest offenders of it.
Yeah.
So
best idea. Yeah.
Apalele said this.
Hey man, I'm saying it, and I'm not gonna turn back.
Wait. AP just said this.
Hey man, I'm not turning back, because it is the fact and it is the truth that our culture creates toxic men.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Like, we nourish it. We keep on feeding it water. We keep on going, here you go. Here, you little toxic thingy. Here. And then we expect them to be good men to our daughters.
I feel that's also a simplification, bro. Because yeah, you're saying your culture is doing that, but I feel like that's all male. That's all male culture. That's all patriarchal culture.
Yes, but
You can
the thing is
personalize
that my culture takes it to a new level, though. It takes it to another level.
Explain to the people. What do you mean by
Let,
that?
let me explain it to you. Cool. There's a mountain thing, right? That happens, and then when you come out of it, you come out with a sense of entitlement as a man. You know, and then also now that you've gone through this traumatic thing and you are now pronounced as a man, what you are met with outside is opposition. There'll be other men out there that will question your manhood. This is a direct thing that happens because, you know, when you come out, you dress a specific way to show that, hey, I just came out.
Yeah.
Just came out. So it also makes you a target for other men to be like, oh, he just came out. Let's go check. Let's go check him.
If he is a man, if he is
a man. And now, if you fail at doing that, doesn't that create an angry person?
Oh, no, it does. Because now you have to go find your superiority somewhere else. You have to go...
Exactly. You have to go find your superiority somewhere else. And the easiest target for that
is the one painted as less... is the one painted as inferior, is the one painted as server.
And now there's a thing in that same culture that says that you should, when you come out, you should use a woman to cleanse.
No lie?
I'm not lying. I forgot what it's called, but it's like you... I don't even know if they take this seriously, but the first person you sleep with is like you discard. It's like a discard. So you sleep with her and then you don't go back to that again.
But are we objects to you guys, no? It means to an end, it seems.
Yeah.
Yo. Yeah. You shook me with that one. That trash.
I don't know if you're gonna find men there in Cape Town a man that's willing to tell you the truth about that kind of thing, but
oh no, because we are not even having conversations because I was not standing for somebody trying to tell me that they are the man. That doesn't work out. So I'll try. I'll go try and source some information.
Please go check me on this information. Please go verify.
I'm going to. You've shook with me.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this offering of the Random Guys. We will continue with this discussion in another episode because clearly
there's a lot to talk about there.
There's a plethora of things to talk about. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. And remember.
And we certainly did stay random. Yeah, man, that's the conversation that we had. Important one, a very important one. So thank you for joining us on that conversation, man.
Thank you for going on that journey with us. It was very enlightening, and I want to apologize for my level of intoxication if you could hear it, because alcohol did not agree with me on that day.
Yeah, and you were like on your 6th beer, so
yeah, bro, I was going in, and no more, not on recording days. On recording days, I'm going to be sober as a judge, so I can be concise with my opinions and the things I want to say, so I can relay them properly. But yeah, guys, thank you for listening to that episode. And as you can hear, we're still sorting out some things, but just bear with us. Give us your feedback. Tell us if you enjoyed the
Please do.
episode, if what we were saying was dope and you enjoyed it, or you can relate with it, whatever. And if you want us to, and give us topics and things maybe you want us to talk about.